We're navigating corridors and cleansing alien infestations. That's right, it's Space Marine Adventures Tyranid Attack from Games Workshop. In this Tyranid terminating tactical team game, 1 to 4 players take on the role of Space Marines, boarding a Space Hulk in an effort to vanquish an infestation of Tyranids. Over a series of rounds, they'll shoot and slice, play cards, and roll dice. Tyranid Attack contains 3 missions. For your first game, we recommend playing Mission 1 as we are today. Mission 2 increases the difficulty, and Mission 3 forces the team to confront the fearsome Tyranid Prime. Setup begins with the Space Hulk board. As a team, choose one board and select a side, placing it in the center of the play area. Space Hulk boards contain a maze of corridors divided into spaces, 4 entry-exit spaces, 6 numbered Xenos entry spaces, and an objective square. As a team, select one of the entry-exit spaces and fly a boarding vessel tile adjacent to that square. Take the 3 bulkhead counters and shuffle them face down with one of their sealed sides showing. One of these has an open door on its other side. Randomly place the bulkhead counters on the other 3 entry-exit spaces. Set the objective counter with the console side up on the objective square. Set 1 termagant creature counter on each of the 6 numbered Xenos entry squares. Take the remaining termagant creature counters and all the Gene Stealer creature counters and place them in the reinforcements bag. Set the bag nearby. Construct the easy-to-assemble, push-to-fit colored miniatures by following pages 14 and 15 in the rulebook. Each player chooses a Space Marine to play and places its miniature on the boarding vessel tile. They also take the matching data card with its unwounded side up. Shuffle the special cards and deal 2 randomly to each Space Marine. Each player chooses one to keep and removes the other from the game. Special cards provide a free action ability during the game. Take the Tyranid data cards and place them near the board. For the first mission, the Lictor creature counters are not used, so you can omit that data card for now. Tyranid data cards have a name, art, description, and a resilience value. Take the level 1 cards and remove the mission briefing card. Shuffle the remaining cards into a face-down draw deck and place it near the board. Set the mission briefing card right on top. Finally, construct the activation deck. Take the 2 corresponding activation cards for each Space Marine in the current game and 4 of the Tyranid activation cards. Shuffle them together into a face-down draw deck near the board. To begin the game, read the mission briefing card aloud and follow its instructions, which provide an objective and in-game conditions, whether you reach them in victory or defeat. Gameplay occurs in rounds. At the beginning of the round, shuffle the activation deck into a new face-down draw deck. This will already be ready in the first round since we built it during setup. Next, reveal the top card of that deck. If the card is a Space Marines activation card, they will take a turn. If the card is a Tyranid symbol, reveal and resolve the top card of the infestation deck. We'll detail these steps in a sec. Once the player's turn is resolved, or the Tyranid's infestation card is resolved, turn over the next card and resolve it. Repeat this process until the deck is depleted. Then, begin a new round by shuffling the pile of resolved cards into a new face-down activation deck. Okay, let's look at resolving the cards. When a Space Marine symbol is revealed, that player takes a turn, where they may perform a number of actions noted on their data card. For instance, Brother Vorn here can perform 3 actions in a turn. Actions include move. The player may move their Space Marine 1 square orthogonally on the board. They cannot move through bulkheads or Tyranids, but they can move through other Space Marines, though they can't share a space. A Space Marine may need to take multiple move actions to get through another Space Marine square. Attack. The player uses their Space Marine to attack a Tyranid creature. First, they check for line of sight. Essentially an invisible straight line from the Marine square to the target Tyranid square. The line must be unbroken by walls, sealed bulkheads, or other Tyranids, but it can pass through other Space Marines. I mean, obviously, they've trained to duck. The player must also ensure their target is within range, another value found on the data card. This is the maximum number of squares between the Marine and the target. If the target is within line of sight and range, they roll their die. If the result equals or exceeds the resilience value of the Tyranid, the attack succeeds and the creature is destroyed. Remove its counter from the board back into the bag. Additional actions may come from various cards in the game. Additionally, special cards provide an effect that can be used at certain times depending on the card's text. These are considered free actions and thus don't take an action from the player's count on their turn. Once the card's effects have been resolved, discard it back into the box. It can't be used again on this adventure. And that's a Space Marines activation. Next, if a Tyranid activation is drawn, the group will reveal the top card of the Infestation deck and resolve it. If the card instructs the players to place Tyranids on the board, reach into the reinforcements bag and pull a random creature counter per square indicated on the card. If the square is empty, place that creature on it. If the square is occupied by a Tyranid, place one creature counter on each adjacent unoccupied square. It's like they made babies. If an adjacent square is occupied by another Tyranid already, just place a creature counter on the next square in that direction. If players need to place a creature counter on a square occupied by a Space Marine, nothing is placed. Instead, the Tyranid attacks that Space Marine. Flip the Marine's data card to its wounded side. If they are already wounded, they are now removed from the game. Creature counters may be placed on console squares and the boarding vessel tiles. However, they cannot be placed on top of closed bulkheads. And that's the basics of gameplay. Play continues with Space Marines and Tyranids duking it out in the corridors and bulkheads of the Space Hulk. Once the mission objective is complete, or the Space Marines have been wiped out, the game ends. Once you've completed the first mission, move on to level 2. If players want a more challenging game, they can open the card deck labeled Advanced, which contains additional infestation cards for each level and challenge cards with additional mission objectives. And if you think it's over after mission 3, well, you're wrong, because there's an epic campaign mode as well, using the campaign level cards to replace the mission briefing cards. I don't want to spoil too much, but the campaign forces Space Marines to only carry their living forces to the next mission, but they'll get a chance to call in reinforcements. If you need to consult these game rules at any point, everything covered here is also spelled out in the handbook. And that's the basics of Space Marines Adventures Tyranid Attack. I'm Becca Scott. This is Good Time Society, and if you want to dip your toes into the world of Warhammer, Space Marines Adventures is a friendly entry point for you. Be sure to give this video a like, subscribe to our channel, and come on back for more great games and good times. Bye-bye.